Shiny hunting in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet can be extremely fun, but it can also be extremely frustrating, especially if you're using the Masuda method and you're hatching a bunch of eggs and it just gets really messy extremely fast. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through a bunch of tips and tricks that I bet you didn't know about the Masuda method to help clean things up and make it a little bit quicker. So let's go ahead and start out with some of the basics. Now, I know some of you probably already know this stuff, but I still want to cover it just in case that you don't. So let's go ahead and hop into the game. And the first thing I want to show you guys is some settings that you want to change. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to our options here. And we're going to change the first setting, which is the text speed. We're going to set that to fast. And what that does is that just basically allows the dialogue on the screen to read by a lot faster. And it's just going to help speed up the process when you're hatching the eggs. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to give nicknames, and we're going to turn that to off. And that way it just completely skips the whole question of, do you want to give this Pokemon a nickname? That way it just makes it a lot quicker. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go down and we're going to turn off autosave. Okay, so we want to make sure that autosave is off just in case something crazy happens. You don't want to accidentally save over something that you may have messed up. So go ahead and turn that off. Now, if you are scared of the game crashing and things like that, you can leave it on. Just keep in mind, you could slip up and it could cause something to go off here. So I usually just do autosave turned to off, and I like to always do one hard save. And there's a reason for that, and I'm gonna explain that further on in the video. Now that we got some of the basics out of the way, let me show you the really fun stuff. This is the stuff that's really gonna save you a lot of time and a lot of effort when you're, shiny hunting using the Masuda method. And mainly, it's gonna save you from having just boxes and boxes full of eggs and Pokemon that you have to mass release later, which, by the way, mass releasing is not in this game yet. So it's a pain. You have to release them one by one. So nobody wants to do that. So there is a workaround. So let me go ahead and show you. So as you can see here, I have the Pokemon that I'm going to breed in my party. Ignore the Miraidon. I have him glitched into my box to do some duping. So, sorry, not sorry. But yeah, just have your Pokemon that you want to breed in your party and nothing else. Okay. And the next thing that you want to do is you just want to go to an area where you can set up a picnic. And the next thing you're going to do is you're just going to go ahead and drop a hard save. Now, remember before I said you want to have autosave turned off. That way it doesn't mess with this setup. So just go ahead and then just turn off autosave and then just drop a hard save here. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and set up a picnic, because now we're going to start breeding. But before we do that, and I just want to make sure I mention this first, is you want to go into your boxes and you want to make sure that you have an empty box selected. So just go ahead and, select an empty box. That way you know exactly where your eggs are going to go. So just make sure that you're sitting on that box, and then go ahead and open your picnic, and we're going to go ahead and start breeding. So before we start breeding, obviously we need to make a sandwich to kind of help our egg power. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a sandwich. And if you're doing this early on in the game, you really don't have to make nothing too fancy. You can do any sort of egg power. Even level 1 is going to give you really good boosts in terms of hatching eggs, or at least spawning them in the basket. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. Okay, so we got our sandwich with our egg power here. I just basically picked something that's gonna give me a little bit of a boost. It doesn't really matter if it's the big one. And then now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna wait and go ahead and get us some eggs. And obviously you're just gonna check the basket here. Of course I just spawned it in, so I'm not gonna have anything just yet. So I'm gonna fast forward to where I have a bunch of eggs. All right, fast forward a little bit, and as you can see, I got myself a handful of eggs in my box here, and I went ahead and moved my breeding Pokemon over to the side because I do want to show you guys another cool trick. As long as you have the Pokemon or the eggs in a vertical formation in your boxes, you can actually select all of them at the same time and move them into your party all at the same time. It's pretty cool. All you do is just hit the minus button where it says draw selection box, and you're just going to select all of them and then just move them over into your party. So it just makes things a little bit easier, a little bit quicker. And the next thing that I want to explain to you guys is you can hatch eggs faster if you have a Pokemon with the ability Flame Body. So just go out there and find yourself a Pokemon with the ability Flame Body. Mine is Talonflame, and all you'll do is just move them into the party with the eggs, and it's going to allow them to hatch quite a bit quicker. Now here's where the fun begins. This is where you can save yourself so much time and so much headache just hatching a bunch of eggs and then just having your box littered with eggs and Pokemon that you don't want. This is going to allow you to save a lot of time and a lot of effort. So I'm going to go ahead and just hatch these eggs, and you can do that just by, obviously just kind of driving around, riding around, and they should hatch pretty quickly, especially if you have that Flame Body Pokemon. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Now that we've hatched all these Pokemon and you find out that none of them are shiny, the next thing you're probably going to do is just move them all into a box and then just try to release them later, or you might be the person that releases them right then and there. But the cool thing is you don't have to do all of that. So the next step, what we're gonna do is we're basically just gonna do a soft reset. So just keep in mind, I wanna show you guys that this is a viable method and it is going to work. Keep in mind, we have 1 female and 3 male from this batch. So remember earlier where I said to turn off autosave and to make sure that you do a hard save before you start your picnic and before you start breeding? This is why. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and do a soft reset of the game. So all you're gonna do is you're just gonna press your home button and you're gonna go ahead and just close the software, and we're gonna boot back into the game as normal. And of course, the last save that we had was before we started our picnic. Now, the reason why I like to do this method is because obviously you don't have to waste a bunch of ingredients on making sandwiches. You basically just make the same sandwich over and over and over. And another cool thing is too, is you don't have to sit there and waste, you know, a bunch of time releasing all of those Pokemon. You just do a soft reset and then you're just gonna start everything over again. Now, to prove that this does work, remember before we had 3 male Swablu and a female Swablu. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start over. We're gonna go ahead and open up a picnic and we're gonna breed ourselves 4 more Swablu. Now, I will say, to make this extremely efficient, what I'd probably do is just reset every 30 minutes. So basically just run out your sandwich and just hatch a bunch of Pokemon and do it that way. That way you're not wasting a ton of time making sandwiches. You're just basically making them every 30 minutes like you normally would anyways. So that's what I would basically do. And if, of course, you run across a shiny, just go ahead and drop a hard save as soon as you possibly can. Okay, so we just hatched the last Pokemon, so let's go ahead and see what they are. And boom, yeah, they're different. We have 3 female and a male this time. So that just proves that these are completely different than the ones that we bred before we reset the game. Now, this is only going to work if you reset it before you breed the egg. So once you breed the egg, it's determined whether it's going to be shiny. It's determined exactly what that Pokemon is as soon as you pick up that egg. So just keep that in mind. This is only going to work if you do it before you breed the egg. Also, I don't know why, I literally just looked at these Lechonks and was like, wait a minute, these Lechonks aren't pink. I am almost 100,000% positive I ran into a shiny Lechonk while making this video and just drove right past it, did not even care. I was like, that's a different looking Pokemon, but it didn't dawn on me that it was a shiny because it's pink. And I'm like, pigs are pink. So I just drove right past a shiny Lechonk. So I guess that's the sacrifice I make for making this video. Oh, that sucks. All right, guys, if you enjoyed my pain and suffering of missing the Lechonk, make sure you hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel for more future videos. But guys, I'm peacing out for now. Have a great day, great night, wherever you are. And until next time, peace out.